Hello everyone. Today I'd like to talk about something a little embarrassing. Today I'd like to talk about what it is to be in a delusion, to be schizophrenic to the point where you can't comprehend a code of morality. And this is how I was at one time. This is how I existed for a few years. I basically could not understand. Well, there had to be a part of me that did understand, but I could not understand why people would act unselfishly, why people chose to act to help other people, and this was a combination of me being schizophrenic, of course, and it kicking in early on. My drug and alcohol use having an effect on that, it kicking in earlier than it should have, but also another factor is that I didn't have a purpose. Now, any kind of mental disorder, any kind of addiction, any kind of societal habit, any kind of societal relationship with any one person or all people, if you don't have a sense of purpose of what you as a person should be doing, of what you're endeavoring to do, even on a basic level, like going to a job every day or trying to take care of your family. It doesn't have to be some grand mission. If you don't have a purpose in your life, you will be led astray by yourself. You will be led astray by selfishness. And drugs and alcohol made my schizophrenia worse, and it made it very difficult for me to understand other people. So my degree of self-sacrifice completely fell to the wayside, and my degree of selfishness was vast. And I did a lot of things that I take responsibility for now. I did a lot of drugs. I sold drugs. I stole things. I got into fights. Not a whole lot of fights, but enough to cause harm and be harmed. And basically, I just treated a lot of people very badly. Now, as a schizophrenic, how do we... It's very hot in here, by the way, because my cooling system is not working. Air conditioner, in other words. Don't know why I said cooling system. Anyway, I take responsibility for it because I believe there was some part of me that understood. Now, it doesn't mean that I was as responsible for my actions as maybe somebody who didn't have any mental disorders but completely chose to be selfish, even knowing it was wrong or feeling it was wrong inside themselves based on their own moral code. Maybe I'm not as responsible as that, but taking responsibility for my past actions helps me to move forward with an understanding of what I've done and what I should be doing, and trying to make up for what I've done in the past that I did wrong, trying to improve. It's an ever-growing process to improve oneself past the point of the times when we did bad things, when we were bad people. But this is something that we do as human beings. We always have to improve past the point that we were previously. Now, when schizophrenics relapse, I've had a few really paranoid relapses, delusions, even with my medication. And even with that medication, I had these relapses, and not every schizophrenic has relapses once they get the right medication, but most do that I know of, just from my knowledge of schizophrenia and schizophrenics in general. But it's a wide range of effects and medications, and the effects medications are supposed to stymie, to lessen. But when I do have these relapses, when I start to hallucinate a little bit, when I fall back in these delusions, I catch myself. I have a very strong spiritual North Star, I guess you could say, a really strong spiritual pull to improve myself on every level possible. I don't succeed as spiritual masters do, but that always pulls me back to reality, away from the delusion, a strong spiritual foundation. I surround myself with spiritual symbols, with spirits, gods, and symbols for the one absolute God, which all spirits or gods are under, in my opinion. I read a lot. I have many books on spirituality, psychology. I listen to audiobooks. I study. Of course, make YouTube videos. But all of these things kind of bring me back to the person I want to be, and that's the sense of purpose I'm talking about that is necessary to bring yourself away from schizophrenia being something that just afflicts you constantly. And this is something that everyone else should recognize as well. Anybody who's done bad things or just doesn't want to do bad things or just wants to improve should develop a strong sense of purpose. And I've said this again and again in my videos. But I have done a lot of things that I regret. But I have paid for quite a few of them through karma. And I'm not going to go into details about that, but I do feel like karma has paid me back in many of the regards that I'm speaking about now, referring to stealing, using drugs, drinking too much. I still drink, but not to the excess that I once did. And I basically just try to be nice to people in a way that I didn't back then, because of a tiny part of me knew and just chose to be selfish, and the rest of it was a delusion that nothing really matters, so I should just basically do what I want, which was the schizophrenia giving me a major depressive disorder, basically. Being so depressed, I just didn't care. And combating depression is an ever-growing problem for schizophrenics, even the ones who have recovered quite a bit. Depression is always something we can fall back into, even if it's not delusional, even if it's not a hallucination. Depression is it's a terrible infliction that we have to deal with, and the way we deal with it is that sense of purpose and through perspective. Like, okay, maybe I'm not this great person. Maybe I haven't achieved my dreams. But just at least going to a job, or at least going to school, or at least being nice to people, being good to my family, taking care of the people that are around me, being nice to my friends, or trying to find friends, trying to help people out there in the world, just the smallest ways. That when we think that we might as well die, we need to return to that even if it's the tiny things, it's better that we lived so we can do even those small things. We don't have to be great in order to have a reason to live or to say that this world is better with us. We just have to at least have those little tiny things that we have to endeavor to do, and that brings us to a sense of value in our life. When we say, okay, well, at least it's a little bit better that I'm alive. The world is a little bit better off for having me alive. And that does feed in a sense of purpose as well. But that's what I always try to return to when I get really depressed, is the world would be a little tiny bit less helped, I guess you could say, aided, if I was dead. And I return to that again and again. I also return to the fact that I do have a high sense of purpose, which not everybody has. A sense of purpose is very rare. A sense of destiny, something that not necessarily you adopted, but just a feeling that you're supposed to do this one thing. And I wouldn't say that's what makes me special. I'm just saying it's fairly rare in my understanding. That doesn't mean that most people don't have a sense of what they want to do, what they feel obligated to, what they feel like is their duty, and enjoy that duty and want to go after that duty. But feeling a strong sense of destiny is kind of rare, and I return to that piece of uniqueness about myself as well whenever I get really depressed. And I recommend trying to find, if you're schizophrenic, if you're not, trying to find that unique part of yourself and attaching yourself to that when you get really depressed, and saying, okay, well, this is me, and this is what I was meant to do. This is my uniqueness. The world needs to see this, or the world would be worse off if it didn't have it. Never spiral down into the abyssal plane of endless depression, because it is hell and it never gives you anything in return. Don't entertain the thoughts of depression. Don't entertain the thoughts of delusion if you can help it. And if you can't, try to seek medical attention. If it's very bad, hospital or mental hospital. If it's something you can wait on, doctor's appointment, better medications, or medications in general. I take a mood stabilizer, and I take Doxepin, and Doxepin is an antipsychotic as well as anti-anxiety, and for sleep. And mood stabilizer, of course, basically what it does is stabilizes my mood. But I have relied on medication for quite a while, but it isn't the only thing I rely on. And getting away from being the person I was, who didn't accept help from anyone, because I always thought that everyone was terrible and I just hated everyone. Now I accept help from people and I thank them for it. Don't let yourself fall down and fall into a spiral of bad habits or willfully evil evil habits or stealing for no reason, using drugs for no reason, selling drugs for no reason, just want to get some more money so I can use more, or just feel that power, get guns, whatever. Don't let yourself get into a delusion, even if you don't have schizophrenia, to where you make it okay in your head because you think the world is just hell. It's a dog-eat-dog world, might is right. And a lot of people still think that. Not everybody who thinks that is a criminal, but a lot of people still think that. Don't let yourself fall back into that. And all these experiences were years ago, but it's kind of what I've always tried to work away from. The person that I was, trying to work away from that as far as I can into a better person that is nicer to people, that helps people, that is trying to positively affect people's lives. That's what I'm working towards. That's what I'm trying to work towards. And this has kind of been a little bit of a confessional, I guess you could say, related to schizophrenia. I'll probably call this video Schizophrenic Confessional because it's really not one that I've made before, connected to the schizophrenia, connected to the crimes that I did and the person I was. But I think that there's a lot of people out there that do have mental illness that might not even know it, that were criminals or are criminals. And find a way out of the delusion. That's my recommendation. Because deep down we all feel it's not quite right. But thank you very much for watching. This is my first video with the new camera that I have, so it might be a little weird. But I will make more videos on schizophrenia in the future, and I might make more videos like this one and with more specific details on stories. But just give me your feedback if you want to give me feedback, and I really appreciate you watching. So y'all have a great day.